Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Free and Fearless Entrepreneur podcast. I am super excited today because I am interviewing, this is the first interview I've ever done on the podcast, and I'm interviewing one of my most favorite people. We met each other back in our first network marketing company where we just became total best friends. And about a year ago, we both decided to change directions in our business. And it's just been such a beautiful experience to go through together, even though we both kind of went different ways. And so I'm excited to introduce to you guys my close friend, my client, my just the most amazing person ever, Maryann Majcher.
Thank you so Thank you so much for just allowing me to be on here. I'm honored to be the first person. Yeah, like we are each other's cheerleaders. We pretty much talk about everything and we'll text each other the most random stuff. Like I had the best poop. Like that is how close we are, okay?
Yes. So we wanted to make sure by the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast, we decided we had to record this live or else we would have probably talked for 2 or 3 hours. And that would have been a very long podcast episode. So Maryann, so today we're going to be talking about changing directions in your business because I personally don't think that it's talked about a lot, and it really scares a lot of people because they think that they're not allowed to change directions, that they should keep themselves where they're at, that there's only one path to success. And after being in business for over 9 years, I think both of us, she'll tell us a little bit more in a little bit, that we have realized that that is not the case. And there shouldn't be any shame around wanting to change directions in your business. And so we're going to dive into that today. But first, Maryann, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I started in network marketing in 2012 and I just really kind of ran with it in the middle of 2013. And gosh, probably around 2017, I started not feeling as passionate, but I kept pushing myself to make it work. And probably for about at least 2 years, I had maybe a little bit of thoughts of like, maybe I should do something else, but I didn't allow myself to step into that. I also had 2 back-to-back pregnancies. And so that I had my focus on there. So it was almost easy for me to stay in the box that I was in for so long because it felt safe. I had really close friends. It felt safe until I started struggling I was struggling because I wasn't in alignment with what I was called to do. And it was so scary. But I am a military wife. I am super passionate just about helping others. And that's why I'm so glad I'm here, because I want to help others, give them permission to change, because that's what you did for me, Ashley. Like you gave me that permission to say, it's okay to change.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what were some of your fears? So I know you were in one network marketing company, and then I don't know how much of your story you want to share, but you kind of got introduced to some different products that you loved. But you were having a hard time giving yourself full permission to, number one, use the products, and then number 2, share about them. So what were some of your fears around that?
There's so many fears. So it's so funny because I started taking these other products in 2016 when I was struggling with second infertility. And I remember I went to visit you in Scottsdale, and I knew in my heart of hearts, like that was going to be my last girls trip for a while, because I just was so determined to get pregnant again. And I was like, taking all these products in secret. And I do think I told you, but maybe, did I tell you? I don't remember.
Maybe.
I think I maybe told you, but there was a lot of like guilt and shame. And I think that's just because when you're in, a network marketing company, so often it's like shamed to use any other products or even like any other products, like if you do, like you're a bad person. Like, I don't know. I can't pinpoint like what was ever said to me or why I felt that way, but there was so much fear and guilt and shame to even like another product, that I was purchasing these products like off of eBay, or maybe I purchased it off a site and wasn't like connected to, somebody that could help support me, because I had that fear of like, I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing, because it's not okay for me to do anything but this network marketing company.
You're very you have the very loyal feelings like when you're in a company. And if anybody else can relate to that, you get into network marketing and then you join a team, you start making really good friends and you start growing a team, and you are telling people that they need to be loyal. And so if you try to veer off, you feel like you're not being loyal, and it's kind of fearful to branch out. Although oftentimes it keeps us stuck. I mean, how long do you really feel like you were kind of spinning your wheels trying to make something work that you weren't no longer aligned with?
For so long, I think because I was pregnant, back to back. I mean, Juliana and Jace are 13 months apart. So I essentially, it's almost like I was able to hide behind that. And then after I had them, and my youngest, when he was 6 months, that's when I hate to say it, but that's when things started getting really dark for me, because I was like, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was like, I can't keep pretending anymore. And we, I already earned the incentive trip with our network marketing company that we were both with. And like, I remember knowing that I needed to go on a vacation, and also knowing that that was going to be my last trip with the company. And it was so hard, because like I had to grieve that and balance that with gratitude, being thankful for it, and grieving it, because I knew that like I couldn't continue to live this way, because if I continued to live this way, I was never going to be happy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And after that trip, did you give yourself full permission to just jump in and start doing this other company, or, by using the product? Like, what did that look like for you?
Oh my gosh. So this is what's really funny. I remember buying the products for this other company on the airplane flying to this other like network marketing incentive trip. And there was so much guilt and shame around it. But I knew that these products worked for me. And I had no, I honestly, I told myself that network marketing wasn't for me. I told myself I'm done doing it. Like, no more. I don't want to be in that realm. And it's interesting because I just was so in my head and had so much anxiety that's when I took 2 months off social media. And I've never taken a break off social media in my life. Like, I still can't believe I did that, but I almost had to do that because I had to like figure it out. It's like, I have to figure out myself. I have to find me again. And I was getting so distracted about like watching other people that I wasn't able to learn about myself.
Yeah, you needed to step back and go inward to, give yourself permission to do what you wanted to do. So, what was like the point where you're like, okay, maybe I can start? And I know your story, and I've helped you through some things, and we worked through it, so I kind of know. But tell the people, like, did you didn't just jump fully in, or did you start tiptoeing? Like, what did that look like? What did that feel like? And then I know you have some tips for us. So
yeah, I do. So I do want to say this quote before I forget. And I actually saw this like on Instagram, like somebody made a little thing, and it said, growth is a delicate balance of surrendering and taking action. And it really was it was a process for me, because I almost, obviously for all of us that are in network marketing or, running businesses, we're introduced to this personal development world. And I had to like go back to that to like learn about myself and almost start the process all over again, because I got out of the habit of doing those things because I don't know. It was just burned, not even burned out, but kind of, I guess, burnt out of like just pretending. And I remember, and I wish I could remember the author. I read the book, How to Stop Feeling Like Shit, because that's how I felt. And I started going to a boxing studio called 9 Round. And I had to take these like little baby steps to help myself, because if I didn't, I knew that I had to do these baby steps to get to where I wanted to be. And I remember that first day there was like the teardrop boxing bag, and I was punching it, and the owner said, she could tell I was really stressed out, and she like put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Maryann, you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to try." Because I almost was like, I don't want to do this round, like it's too hard. And she's like, I promise you're going to get better. And I left that day just bawling my eyes out. And I realized that because I was trying to be someone that I wasn't for so long, that I really did have to, like, I had to let it go, because if I didn't like let this go, then it would just keep coming back to me. And it probably took me about 9 months before I came clean and said that I loved this other company. I loved these products. And I remember like telling you and you supporting me and saying like, that's great. And I was like, it is?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
it's okay. And that was kind of the snowball effect of like as a friend, like having a friend give you permission is huge, because I had so many people, even family members, say, no, you just need to reinvent the wheel. Like, you just need to stay where you're at. You've already worked too hard on this other company. Like, I had so many people telling me like it was safe to just stay where I was at. So like, you were the first person that said, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it is. And really, and you can probably attest to this, but when you are keeping yourself stuck to keep other people comfortable, you're doing a disservice to so many people. Not only like were you doing a disservice to yourself, and I remember this like very clearly because we didn't talk for like a couple months last summer when you were kind of going through this, and I was like, man, what is going on with her? And at the same time, I was getting ready to start to do my own thing, and so I was moving through the motions too. And so when we kind of like reconnected, I think it was like 2 or 3 months that we maybe not talk, and now we talk.
I was so sad. I missed you so much.
It all happens for a reason.
Yeah.
But I think because I felt this too, like if I leave, if I, pivot, if I do my own thing, then I'm going to be doing a disservice to my customers, my clients, and all of, with everything. And then what we kind of find out is we're actually doing a disservice by keeping us stuck where we're at.
Yeah. That's why, like, one of the things I wanted to say was like, make sure who you're around is supporting your growth and not holding you back. And like, after you like, we're like, that's amazing. Like, that's awesome. That's when I started saying, okay. And I had the same thing where I was like, I don't want to let like my customers or clients down. And so at that, like, after you encouraged me and you were like, I can tell you're passionate about this other company. Like, I can tell that this is like something that you're aligned with. I started to just make the decision to start telling my customers and clients like, hey, like, this is the direction I'm going. And almost every single person supported me.
Yeah. Like the fears that you had were not really, I don't want to say they weren't logical, because they are logical, but people did support you when you decided that, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. And it's like, I think we make up stories in our head. I think a lot of us are overcoming being people pleasers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think,
And
oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I think one thing to remember too, and I've said this before in other videos and podcasts, is like, if we were employees at a job, and let's just say we worked at a medical firm or we're medical receptionists, and we apply for a new job at a hospital or somewhere else where we're going to get better pay and better benefits, and we were to leave, nobody would question that, and people would celebrate that. And I think that in network marketing direct sales, you're kind of shunned for doing that, depending on what, like I've seen it with other people where it's really bad. Fortunately, we had really good experiences, but I also think that it's time to kind of change the narrative. If you're in a company and you do have somebody leave, or I think it gave you some experience to grow this new team that you have in a different way.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And like one of the things too that really helped, obviously being a part of the Free and Fearless Entrepreneur and the Confidence Revolution and like all of these programs that you offered, it helped me have these tools to like dig deep and really decide to become who I wanted to be. And, like you said, gosh, we had so many supportive people in our upline in, our last network marketing company. And I remember like being so scared to say something, even though I knew I was going to be supported. I like had to cry because you're letting go of a season that's gone, really. I mean, it's a season that's gone, and it's like you want to go back because it was so much fun, and you have to grieve it and realize that there's other seasons and experiences that are like coming for you.
Yes, exactly. What were some of the other tips that you had for people that were looking to either pivot, change directions in their business, or even, it goes as far as even like social media, when you're talking about something for a really long time, and then you're like, well, my beliefs have changed on it, so let me, start talking about something else.
Gosh, I think that obviously we've been in the online space for a really long time, and it's like we both have said this phrase, never say never, because we're always growing and changing and evolving. And I think so much of that is allowing yourself to just try the things that you want to do and like marinate on it and think, like, imagine your life, like, if I go this direction, like what will my life look like? And like, don't say something wasn't meant to be if you actually didn't try to do it.
Right. I think that's really important too. To note too, it's not like you were just jumping companies just because you're like looking for the exact right opportunity. It really, really was about alignment, because at one point you were really very aligned with the first company you were with.
Yes. Yes. It's like letting go of that guilt, like letting go of the guilt or letting go of thinking that you're going to disappoint somebody, because in the end, you're just disappointing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I can attest to that for sure. And you end up disappointing and showing up, not being aligned and staying somewhere. You're disappointing all of the people that you're trying to serve, because it's not doing good to anybody.
Yeah. And it's like, don't let fear of rejection stop you, because it's like, if you keep showing up, you're going to find the people that are aligned with you.
Yes, absolutely. And especially when you're in alignment. Let's talk about so I know it was kind of in February, I think, is when you fully decided to come out of the closet and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. I am doing something new. And how different has it been since you did that, for your business?
I like want to cry. Yeah, like I said, I thought about this very carefully. I like contacted all my clients, all my customers, like the people that were really that I was serving, and to let them know that I was changing directions. And then I like started a little group and slowly started adding people to my new group and slowly started telling people about these other products. And I really just like, I had to ease into it. And then it got to a point, like you said, in February, it was like, okay, it's time to come public. Like, you've been easing into it now for a few months. It's time. I even had a friend take pictures of me. Like, I really like thought about this for so long. I remember texting you and saying, this is what I'm going to say. And you're like, okay, say it. And I was so scared to freaking say it because I like was so nervous about the rejection. And what happened was I made the post, finally made the post, and there was so much freedom in it and so much support and so much love. And I was on the leaderboard for the company for like weeks at a time, just helping so many people. And it's so interesting because I was wanting to hold on so tightly to the passive income that I created. And once I realized that instead of having like that fixed mindset, and once I realized like I can have an abundant mindset and I could make what I made in a year in a month if I decide to, my world's changed.
Yeah, I remember that conversation too. And I remember the fear that was in you about losing that income. And I was saying, reminding you that you're just so aligned with what you're offering that that income is not even going to matter. Like, sometimes you have to let go of something that you think is helping you in order for you to grow and evolve and get a little uncomfortable while doing it, right?
Yeah, like it's like now it's laughable. And now when I talk to other people, I see myself in them when they say certain things and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I said that too. And it's like,
Yeah.
but if you can push yourself to go to the other side, take action to do the personal development, be a part of the coaching groups, to do the inner work, then your whole life can completely change. Your income could completely change. And what happens is when you step into that, all your relationships change, like you level up, and the people that are supposed to stay with you are going to stay with you.
Right. Absolutely. That's a good point. Even just like, allowing yourself to do what felt good, it changed not just your business, but like your entire life, right?
Yeah, it poured into everything. Like, even be like the mom that I was, like everything. It's like I'm like I felt so good. And it's so interesting because obviously during the, like right now as we're recording, this is like during the pandemic, during COVID, and I used to have a sitter come every single day to watch the kids so I could, go to my boxing classes, go to the grocery store, just like have a little me time, especially since my husband is in the military. I just needed that little mental break. And I remember the day she said, I'm not coming over anymore. And this is, when I thought this was going to be like 2 weeks, not 2 years. And I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. And this is what's so interesting. There was a little bit of fear, like, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to get my break anymore. Like when I realized that, but this is what's so interesting because I'm in alignment, because I have decided to like enjoy life and like have this totally different abundant mindset. I'm not even mad that I don't have a sitter come every day.
Yeah.
And if you would have told me that like a year ago, I would have been like, no, I need that. Like I need it. And it's just like, it's so interesting because it does pour into everything. It really does.
Exactly. And we were talking about before we got on that we were going to share quotes, and I never shared with you what my quote was. That was on the same line of this subject, but this is a perfect time. Is my favorite quote is "Don't want what you don't want." I think a lot of times that we get into network marketing, direct sales, or even if you're just have a business online and you're watching everybody else, you start wanting things that you didn't really that you don't really want just because everybody else is wanting them. And so that's kind of, I know for me, that's kind of what kept me stuck in my business was I'm like, well, this is the path I need to take, and I have to want these things. And I had my come to Jesus talk with myself on September 15th actually with you too. I remember you telling me you don't have to make a decision. And so that was my surrender moment, was like, I'm not going to make a decision. But when I went to think about like, Ashley, what do you really want? It wasn't those things I was chasing. And so I think this is something that people need to do more often. I don't know if you kind of agree with that too. Like when we start wanting the things that we actually want, our life kind of starts to get better in all areas.
Yeah, like it's not funny, but I know like it is funny. Like we get influenced by things that we don't want. Like I was on Instagram late one night and like some hot 20-year-old is like wearing all this Gymshark stuff and she's looking really hot. And I'm like, I need all the Gymshark clothes. And like I dropped like $200 on all these clothes and I get them. And I just like, no, I don't even want this. They don't like look like the way they look on her. You know what I mean? Like, and this is such a silly example, but it was just one of those things where it was like, wow, like sometimes we get so influenced even by people we don't even know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even go to the gym. Why am I like, what the heck? You know, like what am I doing? Like, but it's because like, and then it that actually like as silly as it sounds, that was a couple weeks ago. And ever since then, it's like I made on my phone, am I in alignment with this? And I ask myself that question when right now, since, you know, if you know me or don't know me, I have a shopping addiction. And so having that question, like, is this in alignment with me? I ask myself that before I buy something. Is this in alignment with me? If somebody wants my time, you know, like it's like you just have to trust that you have to trust yourself, you know, and like not try to be like everybody else, because when you do that, which I saw myself getting into that default setting of like, oh, I want to be like this person that I don't even know. And it didn't feel good.
Yeah. And I'm going to drop Maryann's Facebook and Instagram below in the show notes, but you guys have to go check out the post she did after that, because it was so funny and it was so good, but it's so true. I think one of the main things, especially in business and I think in life also, is like just being very self-aware. And the journey that you took through this by taking that break allowed you to, you know, become self-aware. And then also it's like you have to constantly remind yourself. So I love that you have that. Did you say you have it on your screensaver or something on your phone?
Yeah. I just said, is this in alignment? And this could be even like if you start having judgmental thoughts about someone, like, you know, it could be for anything. Like, is this in alignment with who I want to be? And the answer is no. Like, I used to talk, you know, mad crap about people, you know, and I let that go. Gosh, months ago. And that changed my world, you know, like instead of like, because I'm judging them and then I was judging myself too. And it was like, it didn't feel good in my soul, you know? And it's like each season is going to change you. And if you decide to be in alignment with even your thoughts and your actions, like you're going to end up like leaving this legacy of greatness instead of holding yourself back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is awesome. And I think that's a really good place for us to kind of wrap it up. But did you have anything else that you wanted to tell people, or that you wanted to share with people about, you know, maybe they're feeling like they're not in alignment and they want to get into alignment?
I just invite you to get uncomfortable and live out your dreams.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so uncomfortable. And you own the pen and paper to your story that you're writing.
Yes. I think sometimes we forget that we have to please ourselves before we can please other people. And once you kind of do that, it just kind of flows and it kind of rolls with things. I know that your business is rocking now, and that I know that it doesn't, and you can speak on this, but you don't feel like you're having to force things as you were, or try to be somebody else.
I mean, I used to send like copy paste super annoying messages for years, and I haven't once done that.
And how many times have you rake advance this year?
I don't know. What is it? Like,
I think it's four
or five. That's why it's going to happen again. But because you just have to, like, you have to just see the beauty in the journey and really trust that, like, the right people are going to come to you.
And I think, as long as you stay integrity with yourself and the way that you move forward, that it can be done gracefully. Like I've seen it not done gracefully, and that's not my story to tell, or whatever anybody else's. However, I do believe that once you stand, in as who you are, that it doesn't have to be this big scary thing, even though it may feel like it in the moment.
Yeah. And I think too, like for us that have been in the online space for a really long time, it's like we've kind of grown up on social media. And I think that, like, maybe an outsider would be like, oh, wow, she's really lucky. She's had all this success. And it's like, no, like, with the exception of taking those 2 months off when I was struggling, I've been showing up every single day since, pretty much since 2013. So it's like, for any of you that are listening, if you are, in a network marketing company or starting like your own business, like it takes time for people to know you. And I think that's the beauty in the journey, is allowing people to see you grow and change and evolve.
Yeah. And that was one more thing I was going to add. We both still like respect our old network marketing company, and it taught us all of everything that we have to move forward. It wasn't like we didn't get anything from that or didn't learn from that. And it really taught us everything we know now. And so, yeah, well, a lot of people will say, oh, well, they just have overnight success. But like, I've been showing up in the online space for 9 years, and you almost just as long. It's like, no, it wasn't overnight. We've learned and we've grown and we've taken the lessons that we needed to move forward with what we were doing now.
Yeah. And I think the way the world is going, I mean, this could be like a whole nother podcast, but the way the world's going, like, I just encourage so many people, like, start showing up. Like, even if you're not attached to a company, like, start showing up, because the world needs more positivity. The world needs people that are going to be, lights in this world. And I heard a thing this morning when I was doing my bike ride, and she said, we don't get this time back. This isn't a dress rehearsal. So it's time for you to make an impact.
I love that. I think that's where we will end it.
Yeah.
I love that. So thank you so much for doing this with me. I know that this is going to help so many people, because I know that there are people struggling out there trying to figure out how they should move forward with what they want to do. So I will link your Facebook and your Instagram and even your group below, so people can go check you out. Is there anything else that you want to end with?
I just want to say thank you. I'm probably going to get emotional. Like, thank you, Ashley. I can't thank you enough for just being such a great friend in all these different seasons in life, and really stepping into your calling with coaching, because it's had such a big ripple effect on so many people, obviously myself, and I've been able to, like, pass this on to my team and other people that I'm connected with. And it's such a beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you. I love you.
I love you too.